it was a passion back in college. And I am one of the lucky few people who could pursue a passion, and that became a career. The money comes in later. Like I said, I never chased money. If you are in this business for money, then this is a wrong profession to be. I would say, to start off with, if you're going to start, that is going to be the focus, because it's first your creativity and your passion that has to come into picture. From Hyderabad would travel to Mumbai and Bangalore for international concerts, and that stopped. I mean, it happened the other way around. That people actually from Chennai, Pune, Vizag, Kolkata, Bangalore would come to Hyderabad for the kind of event that we started hosting in Hyderabad, and the rest is history, as they say.
Hello, guys. Welcome to another interesting episode of Inside the Job with Shreyas Hegde. Today we have Vinay Hegde with us. Vinay is
Hi,
a
Shreya.
yeah. Vinay is a mechanical engineer turned event manager. He has an experience of about 20 years in event management, having managed over 500 plus events and touched over 1 million plus audience. He is specialized in both producing and executing large scale electronic dance events, both internationally and pan India. Some of his major events include the Filmfare, Sunburn, Sensation, Economic Times Awards, Mirchi Music Awards, to name a few. He is also one of the first to get legendary musicians like Martin Garrix, Marshmello, Afrojack, DJ Snake, Alan Walker, to name a few. This is a very, very brief introduction to what Vinay Hegde represents. Welcome, Vinay.
Thank you, Shreyas. Thank you. Thank you for having me over on this podcast. I hope I can give you and your followers a little insight into event management. Happy to be here. So let's begin. Start with your questions, and I'll try and answer as much as I can with my experience.
Yes. So we all know we all have some idea about who an event manager is and what he does, but we want to hear it from you. Who is an event manager and what he exactly does?
I think there's an event manager in most of us. I mean, it starts very early in all of us, right from your school. And I would say primarily in your college days, when you start organizing your inter-branch and fraternity festivals, competitions. There is already something that you wouldn't even realize that those are the inborn qualities, but that's the beginning. I would say per se that nobody. I never imagined that this could be a career, but it was a passion back in college, and I am one of the lucky few people who could pursue a passion, and that became a career. But yeah, the event manager is anybody who can put things together, in a nice way and make it look very interesting for the audience. And it, like I said, it starts very early. It could, and it need not necessarily. It could be, not just in college. I mean, you would be doing probably a Ganesh Utsav in your locality. I mean, that's also for me an event. I mean, that's also something that I've done. Events could be anything. It cannot be really defined. I mean, yes, now it's become very corporatized, and you have an organized sector. Back then, and even there is a big unorganized sector which prevails in our country. So there are a lot of event managers who may not be professional event managers, but still are very good at doing, conducting events per se. It could be a religious event, it could be a social event like a wedding or anything else. So yeah, anybody and everybody can be an event manager. There's no entry barrier per se. You don't have to be a qualified MBA or a business grad or something like that to kind of get into events. So it's a vast open field, and anybody and everybody is welcome.
Yeah. So you said that your experience in college or how your surroundings can also shape you to become an event manager. So for you particularly, how your college years or your environment helped you to become an event manager?
Oh yeah, that's where for me honestly where it I started thinking on in terms of organizing events. I mean, school I wouldn't say so much, but I was very enthusiastic in terms of the cultural activities. But the college gave me a platform to think creatively, because that's in the first year. Obviously, I just observed, and I did my engineering from NITTE, and that's back then we had something called as a variety entertainment program, which was very popular amongst all the colleges across Mangalore. All the engineering colleges, medical colleges used to participate, wherein you were given about 30 minutes to put together a series of events. It could be dance, singing, it could be mimicry, it could be a national integration skit or whatsoever. And it's a whole package that you had to put together and present it within those 30-35 minutes. It's like a short film, and I saw it for the first year. My seniors do that, and I was instantly drawn towards it. And I was like, wow, this is something that I want to do. And from there on, there was no looking back. I mean, from the year two, when I got an opportunity to get involved, and we won every single intercollegiate festival that we would participate, we would come back with some or the other prize. It could be for anything. It could be for a dance. It could be for a skit. It could be for an XYZ. But we never came back empty-handed. That was the kind of passion that we had. And I think we were way ahead of the time. I mean, thanks to our engineering background, we do some stuff with a very limited resource and limited budget back then, which I think I'm very proud of, because to think of it, because that was the time we did not have so much of technology at disposal. Today, you have very high-end lighting systems, sound systems, and technology at your disposal to do these events. But back then, I mean, the way we used to do it is funny, but it was great. It was fabulous. The output was superb, and I'm very proud of it. So that's where it all started from.
Okay. So when exactly did you realize that this is your passion and you want to pursue event management in the long term?
Well, it honestly, I didn't realize it because technically, like for everybody, once you are done with the college, you're supposed to pursue what you studied, which is engineering, medicine, or whatever. And that was my case as well. I had to join my family business, and um, I was not very happy deep within, like what I was doing, though, that is the traditional path everybody's supposed to choose. And I did hang around for a couple of years, but I realized that, my heart is not there. And I was just working, for the heck of working, but it was not giving me any kind of satisfaction. And I was just lucky that I moved away. And I got an opportunity with a family friend who owned an event company from Bombay, who was looking at setting up a office in Hyderabad. He asked me, "Would you be able to help me out?" I had no prior experience of events, but I knew that it's a worth a shot. And I had a business background of 2 years, so there was a good combination. And I said, let's give it a shot. And there was no looking back. I mean, so I started my career with doing BTL events, in-shop activities, road shows, home-to-home promotions, and all of that for about 2 years. But again, I was not very satisfied. But I got a break within that same company to do uh, a product launch for a chocolate, and that's something that really struck me. That's when it struck me that, oh, I love doing more of these glamorous events, which involves lights, sound, there's drama. This is exactly what I was doing in college. And I said, BTL is somewhere I was, at the end of 2 years, very not very satisfied. I thought that there's more that I could do with my creativity and my knowledge. And I got attracted into live events. And then I moved. I was lucky to get a break in Times of India. They had started an event company called 360 Degrees, and which was primarily looking into the internal events of Times of India Group, which was called the Filmfare Award, the Brand Equity Quiz. They had the War of DJs. There are lots of events. Plus, the idea was to do other corporate events as well. And I got a break, and rest is history. I mean, that's where it all started from, and there's been no looking back thereafter.
So I'm sure it must have been a very interesting journey of 20 years in
Absolutely.
event management. So can you elaborate a little bit more? How has the journey been for you?
I mean, it's been a dream, honestly, to say that, to kind of break away from the herd and it's a risk that I took early, I would say. I mean, a lot of my colleagues or a lot of my peers who are there in engineering probably are doing very well for themselves. Some of them are in India, some of them are abroad. They're doing very well for themselves. They're financially very secured, and they're quite settled per se. And I would say that when they look at me, they are very envious. All of them, the life that I live. Obviously, I mean, it's not at the end of the day, money is there, but it's not about the money. I never chased money. That was not the idea. It was clearly the passion, and I don't think so. Anybody can say the kind of job satisfaction I have. Like, not a single day it felt, even when I was working for various companies, that I was actually going to work. I was getting paid to have fun. I mean, it's as simple as that. Like every day was something different. I was doing one war of DJs, brand equity, film fair. I was doing a job fair. I was doing all kind of events. I was doing exhibitions, everything and anything that was coming my way. And I had this. I was blessed to kind of do so many events. We used to do almost 50 events a year. I mean, that's the number of per se, and there was like, what more can you ask for? And it made me travel. It made me travel to cities within India. I would hobnob with the best of the best celebrities. I mean, we would do the celebrity-driven events, movie promotions, and the film awards, like the film fair and etc. And it took me. I also got a travel opportunity to travel abroad for events, for corporate events, and for special events as well. So yeah, that was the journey. And from times I moved to an event company called Percept, which was very big on sports, and who were the inceptors and the IP holders for this event called Sunburn, which is the largest dance music festival in Asia. And so yeah, I moved on to Percept and I worked with them for a while. Before moving on, I thought probably okay, I've done enough of events for almost a decade now. Let me slow down, and maybe there was a trend that a lot of event managers were joining the corporate side of the business, wherein the clients, especially the banking sector, was looking at hiring event managers to kind of design and to kind of manage the large format events that they were involved in, because the banking sector was really blooming and they really needed somebody from the events experience background to kind of oversee the events which were being designed and given to event companies. So I did a small stint with HSBC Global Resourcing as well. That was primarily my last job as an event manager with the corporate. So I used to report to the global head corporate communication and also to the CEO. So my job there was to oversee, not to execute per se, but to oversee the events across Asia Pacific in which the CEO was personally involved, and to make sure that it shaped in the right way and was delivered the way it was, the vision of the CEO was, and it was delivered in the right way. But somewhere down the line, it kind of I felt a little tied down because I was not directly executing it. I was just kind of observing and telling people what to do. I mean, coming from a background where I was doing 50 events a year to maybe doing 5 or 6 very big, crucial events across Asia Pacific. Somewhere, again, I felt that I was missing, and I think I need that rush. I need that adrenaline rush. I need that madness. I need that chaos in my life. And I said, okay, let me move back. And I then started on my venture on my own. And it's been a great journey. And from there on, from corporate events, I moved on to electronic dance music festivals. I mean, Hyderabad never had seen an electronic dance music concert per se. We started the first one in 2014 with a Grammy Award winning artist called Afrojack, and we were expecting a crowd of about 5,000. And we ended up getting about 12,000 people. And that was a great response. And from there on, we have not looked back. And we put Hyderabad on the world map, not just on India, but people from Hyderabad would travel to Mumbai and Bangalore for international concerts, and that stopped. I mean, it happened the other way around. That people actually from Chennai, Pune, Vizag, Kolkata, Bangalore would come to Hyderabad for the kind of event that we started hosting in Hyderabad, and the rest is history, as they say.
So, what are some of the challenges you faced in your work? What are the most common challenges you face as an event manager?
There are many, many challenges. There's not one challenge. There's many, many challenges. Because you, like I said, I mean, you're supposed to do 100 things right, and even if you do 99 things right, and if you get that one thing that is wrong, the client will just still say that you did not deliver. I mean, and at times we're helpless because we are dependent on external sources, external vendors, who are supposed to deliver. So we have to be very careful, and that is where we come into the picture. And that the client has entrusted you with an event, and you with your experience are supposed to get the right vendors on board to make sure that the events happen the way it's been planned. But there are times when there are unforeseen circumstances and things are beyond your control, and things can go wrong, but yet it's a thankless profession. Like I said, nobody would like, if I would always, the way I put it across to my team and my juniors is that if at the end of the day, if there is no complaint, think that that is a compliment. The event has gone very smoothly and the client is happy. That don't fish for compliment, and if they come and tell you something nice, it's nice. But if that is the biggest thing that I always pray for when I start doing an event, is that let it just go peacefully. Because like I said, we are helpless. Uh, we can plan as much as we can, but we are all dependent on a lot of things and external resources. And if somebody doesn't deliver, it shows badly on us. And so we only hope and pray that okay, whatever you planned and whatever your experience is, it goes right, and at the end of the day, you have a successful event.
So can you remember any of the funny events or where some mishap happened and because of
Oh
this?
well, I'd like to discuss the funny part of it. The mishaps I would rather avoid because I don't think so. I would want to kind of, yeah, there are, but let's keep it away for the moment and just talk about the funny things. So there was this whole corporate client of mine. I wouldn't want to name the client and the artist here because it still remains to be a secret. But so I can't name the client. I can't name the artist. So we had pitched for a very big IT company's annual day event for about 3,000 people, and we were trying to break into this account for a year, and finally we got a breakthrough, and the client said, okay, come and do a presentation, we'd like to see what you've got for us. And we made a fantastic presentation, and they loved it, and they said, okay, you guys are on board, let's do it. And we got a very renowned playback singer along with his band and musicians to come and perform for the show. And the client was very happy. Okay, so this is, I'm talking about at least about 15 years ago. Now, on the day of the event, we are ready to go, and it was the morning of the event that the artist landed up in Hyderabad, and I got a call from the artist manager saying the artist has requested you to come and meet him at the hotel, and he wants to have a word with you. And I was really worried because that happens, there's some problem, and I don't know what the problem is. We are very ready, we are set, the stage is set, sound night, everything ready. And very reluctantly, I go to the hotel now. I said, what? Because sometimes there are some artists who come up with very ridiculous last minute requests, which we are supposed to fulfill. But I was very sure because the artist whom I had doesn't have that kind of history. He's a very humble person, and though he was a very big celebrity, wouldn't do something like that. So I said, what is it? So he said the artist has lost his voice. He was performing somewhere up north in Lucknow at an event, and it was very cold, and they've traveled all night, and he's lost his voice. He cannot sing today. So, is there a way we can replace the artist? I said, I thought they were first of all joking. I said, and this is on the show day, and I said there is no way. So, and they're already making calls right in front of me and trying to check if KK is available, Shan is available, XYZ is available, and it was peak December month, and none of them were available. And this is going on and right in front of me, and I'm just being a spectator saying, sorry, we will not be able to perform. And we've just broken into this account, and this is a new client for us. There's no way that I can go back and tell the client that, okay, listen, the artist is here, but he cannot perform because he's lost his voice. So all our efforts, all our money is going down the drain, and we'll have to do it's not possible. So we said, okay, what do we do? So we did the whole event on +1. When you say there is something called -1, when you say -1 is the artist sings, but there's a track which is playing on the CD. It's not the live band, and the artist is just lending his voice to it. And sometimes it's also lip syncing. That's called as -1. +1 is everything is there, and artist is actually just um, lip syncing, and he's doing nothing. And I said, listen, you have to go on stage. There is no way that you cannot go on stage. Now, if I try and find a solution to this, it's not going to happen. The event cannot be postponed. There's too much of money that is gone into it. So you'll have to go on the stage and you will have to perform. So he very reluctantly agreed. He said, let me take some medicine. Let me do some salt water gargle because he said, if I go on stage, I have to interact with the audience a little bit and I don't have a voice to even interact. Forget about just standing there. I said, no, no, nothing doing. You'll have to kind of probably do something about it. And finally we did the show. So he stood there, he kind of did whatever he could do. But yeah, that was a nightmare, and we pulled off the show somehow. So
Great
that
story.
was a funny episode.
Yes, great story. So, so what has been in this 20 years, what has been one of your most memorable event or one of the most rewarding memories you have of an event?
Well, uh, To kind of, I think the most memorable would be this IP from Amsterdam that we got to India, Hyderabad. It's called as a white sensation party. Basically, it's converting an outdoor stadium into a nightclub per se, where everybody is dressed in white. The concept is that you have to be dressed in white, otherwise you're not allowed into the concert. And there are these international DJs, and it had a center stage. I mean, in India, has never seen a center stage per se. Huge production, and there were about 12 containers of material that came from Amsterdam. There were about 70 crew that flew down from Amsterdam to build a stage and to execute the event. And we had about 15,000 people in the stadium. And it was strange that we had done all the publicity, press ads, hoardings, digital media, everything was done. But uh, maybe 48 hours prior to the event, we had not even sold, say what, like 3,000 tickets, not even that. And we were supposed to do at least about a minimum number of tickets for the show to be on. And we were all panicking because a show like this had never been done in India. This was happening for the first time. And typically, it should happen in a city like Bombay, Delhi, the metro cities, the so called, where you have these large audiences who come for such shows. And this was happening in Hyderabad. And against all odds, when we had told everybody, no, no, this is going to be a success story. And we didn't know what to do. I mean, imagine, I mean, we've spent crores of rupees in the entire production, the artists and everything, and it was happening in an outdoor stadium and which has a capacity of about 30,000 people. And we were like, what's going to happen? But it just happened that in the next 48 hours, it was like magic. The server of the ticketing company literally crashed. People were waiting till the last minute, and when the floodgates opened, people kind of went berserk in terms of booking the tickets at the last minute. They waited till the last minute. They were thinking probably they're going to get a free pass from somewhere or something going to happen. They didn't buy. And India being India, we are always a last minute market. So people started buying, and we had about 15,000 people in the stadium, and that was like one of the most beautiful sights that I can ever imagine. 15,000 people dressed up in white, partying in a stadium uh, at a concert. What more can you ask for? So I think, yeah, by far for me, that was the most memorable moment of my career, which I can clearly say that, yes, that was something to cherish.
So let's talk about the money part. So in this profession, what is the money that an event manager can make? Uh, yeah.
Well, see, the money comes at later. Like I said, I never chase money. If you are in this business for money, then this is a wrong profession to be. I would say to start off with, if you're going to start, that is going to be the focus because it's first your creativity and your passion that has to come into picture. And you don't get paid really well when you start working for a company because it's your experience that counts. And now there are a few event management schools and colleges which kind of give you an insight into it, and there are courses that you do, and then you join the company. But I would still say that without experience, nothing counts. Even if you have an MBA degree, but at the end of the day, on ground experience is what it counts. And we all start off somewhere as freelancers, promoters, and you know, and we learn the tricks of the trade. And once you are good at what you're doing, people see how good you are, and then you get absorbed into these good event companies. And once you have about a couple of years of experience, you start getting paid well, I would say. So it's a very subjective thing. The money, it all depends on your potential and your output and how well are you able to handle it. But you need to be very patient. This profession, whether you want to work for someone or you want to do something on your own, it will start paying you after a certain amount of time. It's like a tree, like you nurture the tree, you put fodder, you put manure, you put water, and it grows, right? So this is how you gain with experience, with more and more experience, with more and more money will come. But right from day one, if you're expecting to get paid, that's not going to happen. Like you have to prove your skills, and there are no free lunches. You have to work for your money. It's as simple as that.
Right, right. So suppose there is someone who wants to start or who wants to pursue this career as an event manager or in event management. So what advice do you have? One thing, and what is the key to success? Like, what exactly should be his mindset?
See, the way to start off is to better to work with established companies as a trainee, first of all, get a hang of the thing. Now, event management is again a very vast field, you have a lot of verticals. You have live events, you have concerts, you have weddings, you have expos, you have BTL. Now, what is it that really excites you? Like I said, there's a transition phase between your, when you are doing your college, probably if you can do a part-time job somewhere or do some events on the weekends and get a hang of it, and you kind of start visualizing yourself as an event manager. You will understand what really attracts you a lot. Like I said, it should be your passion, and it should not feel like a job. So first and foremost, identify yourself. Where do you want to be? What field do you want to pick up? Everything pays off well. Everything is a very vast industry. Like the wedding industry is such a big industry in our country today. So is live events, so is everything else. Like today, you name the international artists, whether the DJs, bands, pop singers, they're all coming to India. Stand-up comedians, they're all coming to India. So India is getting the best of the best in terms of the entertainment space. You have the cultural Nita Ambani Cultural Center in Mumbai, which is opened up and which is hosting some of the best Broadway, musical Broadway, and so on and so forth. So you first and foremost decide where you want to head, and you start small and you gain experience. You learn under somebody who's doing really well. So it's going to be a grind. You're going to be like really ragged in your initial days. But once you show, and you prove yourself that you have it in you to kind of take up that kind of a stress, that kind of a load, that kind of a mental, and make sure that the event goes well, people will sooner or later notice your work, because there's a dearth of good event managers today in every field, and it cannot go unnoticed. I mean, like I've always seen, somebody who's doing well as an asset and not as a threat. I always believe that if your team is doing well, you will do well at the end of the day. So I would entrust more and more work, and I've seen a lot of my juniors grow. I mean, I have learned from my seniors also in a similar way. So you start that way, that you kind of work as a trainee under some good event companies, event managers, freelancers. You do a little freelancing work. Once you know that, okay, you have a hang of, a fair idea of this event, is when you would want to start on your own. But my personal advice would be work first before you make a foray into events on your own directly. Sometimes it can really boomerang, because one event can kind of finish your career completely. One event probably can create so much of losses. People think it's very simple, that you get an artist, you get a sound light, and you put up a show and it will sell. It's not that simple. If that was the case, then everybody was an event manager, getting a big celebrity artist, giving them that kind of money, and tickets don't sell that easily. There's a lot of back-end team who puts in that kind of an effort for a show to be successful, for a wedding to be successful, for an expo to be successful. There's a teamwork which is not visible. But when you go, you feel that it's very simple. When you actually get into it, you will see, oh my God, I didn't see this coming. I didn't foresee this coming. And that's why you end up having a problem. So it's best that you watch and then kind of understand, and then you get into start doing these events on your own.
Thank you so much, Vinay, for all the insights that you have given. It has been a very fruitful and interesting conversation.
My
So
pleasure.
thank you. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thanks, Shreyas. Bye bye.